Pod Candy!
A podcast about cults, crimes, and killers.
Before we begin, this episode discusses childhood trauma, abuse, and mental health struggles. Please listen with care.
This is a story about a former child star, unresolved trauma, and what happens when fame never really lets go.
Today we're discussing Corey Feldman versus the World, a documentary on YouTube that follows Corey Feldman during a period of instability, isolation, and ongoing public scrutiny.
The film documents Feldman on tour with his band and the group of women he refers to as his angels. While the imagery can be jarring, the deeper focus of the documentary is a man shaped by early fame and long-term trauma, struggling to maintain control over his narrative and his life.
Feldman has spoken publicly for years about abuse he experienced as a child actor. This documentary exists in the context of that history, and much of what we see reflects the lasting effects of that trauma rather than a single moment in time.
The film has generated controversy, but what stands out most is not spectacle. It's the sadness. A person who was famous very young, who has never fully stepped out of the public eye, and who appears to still be searching for safety, validation, and meaning.
Outside my window, it's only raining. When the wind blows, I feel pain. I don't need no doctor, baby, I'm not sick. My body's been locked up, heartbroken ever since.
So this doc was filmed in 2016, right? So like 10
Yeah.
years ago.
A long time ago.
Right. And it started because Corey did a song with his angels on the Today Show that was, let's be honest, like it was atrocious, but he thought that it was phenomenal.
I think that's the part, because of his fame and how famous he was from movies like Stand By Me, Goonies, and others. I mean, really big movies, big box office things, big child star fame. And he's a great actor, I have to say. I don't know how his acting is now, but when he was a kid, holy crap, that was a real actor that maybe could have been nurtured into a wonderful adult actor. But I think his trauma and his home life, which he says was abusive, and his father was sort of in and out of his life and sort of left his life because Corey didn't want him to manage him. So his father's like, well, if I can't manage you, I don't want to be your dad. Bye. And the mom was abusive. So he had a rough childhood.
This is my young movie star life. There's that one from 8 is Enough. That's from Time After Time. Cheers.
You were on Cheers?
Bad News Bears. That was my first on-screen kiss. And she was a little hottie too, Tanya Roberts.
Did you love it?
No, I was a slave. Nobody loves being a slave. But I enjoyed being on the set sometimes because there were other kids. So I got to play sometimes, which was better than being beaten and locked in a room without food. So yeah, there were perks. My own father would never go out of his way one bit to do anything for any of his children.
That's like the last.
Because he's a fucking selfish asshole. Did I say that?
That's like the last.
I left him at 13 years old, 14 years old. And at that age, I got legally emancipated. I said, I don't want you to be my manager anymore. I love you. We have a good time together. We actually have fun together. I hated being with my mom because she just beat me. He didn't beat me. He was cool. We smoked weed. We listened to music. We laughed. We picked up chicks together. He was like my bro. So I said, so I'll be here as your son. I just don't want you to manage me. He said, if I'm not your manager, then I'm not your father. So get your shit and get out.
Another band playing right now.
Like
Yes.
you said, like he was that snarky kid. He did tons of films when he was a kid, but a lot of these child actors, as it is well documented, really struggle. Drugs, homelessness, getting involved in really shady dealings. So, I think, you and I were kind of talking before we started recording this, and, I've kind of followed him. Like, I've watched him on Howard Stern over the years, listened to him on Stern, watched him on various reality shows, not only the...
Have we not discussed Stern? Are you a Stern fan?
Oh, I'm a huge Stern
Oh my
fan.
God. We've never discussed this.
Maybe our
Howard
next
Stern-
podcast, should we do a podcast on Howard Stern?
Howard Stern is, and I have an autographed poster from Private Parts. My dad knew a man named Harvey Perlman who worked in New York for the station. What was it called? K-Rock?
Yeah, K-Rock.
And K-Rock, and got me Howard's signature, and I also have it in a book. Miss America.
Oh my God, I love that. I have Private Parts, and I have the second book, but we digress.
We digress, but I just didn't know. People out there, I've known Dori for like 30 years, and I also know her mom. I did not ever talk to her about this topic, and when I find out that people like Howard as much as I do, they'd become instantly like part of my heart.
Yeah,
more than they were. Anyway, back.
So I think we both saw like Corey Feldman years ago with his dad on the Stern Show. It was very cringe, right? Because the dad, it's definitely well documented that his father kind of used him for money, but he was kind of the cool guy. And then his mother abused him. So there's the baseline. And I know that when the doctor, we let him out of his little coven, that he'll be able to talk a lot about this, about, growing up with that trauma and now who he is as an adult, right? He's been married a few times. Mm-hmm. He's extremely controlling. And this is not only from this documentary, Corey versus the World, which, by the way, of course, he's pissed at. He's pissed at the filmmaker. Oh, yeah, he claims the filmmaker put in things that, he never did. But of course, they were filming it the whole time.
He sent a cease and desist, and nothing happened. And he was trying to block it in any way he could. He did not endorse it.
Yeah, but it shows truly, unfortunately, the type of person that he has become, which is like a micromanaging, totally controlling. And some would say these angels were a part of a cult because he didn't let them do anything without him giving the approval.
Somebody had gotten a hotel room, and I'm thinking, great, we're going to be able to go to a place and have showers. That Corey said that we're not going to be doing that because he wasn't involved in the planning.
They all need to wait for me. Like, I don't want anybody doing anything until I get there. These are the two things I asked not to happen. The girls shouldn't be running around on their own, and I shouldn't be without security. I'm paying these people to be professional, and everybody just thinks that it's a fucking heyday and everybody can just do whatever the fuck they want. Get out of the car. You need to talk to me. You need to stop just taking off. Remember the rule about how the band doesn't take off? That's a fucking rule. It's in the contract. You signed it. Alyssa! She leaves without her phone. A good tour manager. What are you doing?
I was going out and talking to the lady.
But you're letting the girls run all over town. Are you crazy?
I didn't let them do anything.
Jackie said that she told you she was leaving with Bolina.
Oh yeah, like
No!
oh, okay.
No! What does the fucking contract say? It says the band stays together.
Jezebel, one of the angels that left, and I listened to her podcast a little bit because she tells some stories, and she's completely lucid. It's not like she's some weird, like she's like, if you're listening to a stripper who is, she's like, my life before Corey was fine. I was not a broken down girl that he needed to save, because his whole MO is that like he needs to save these girls who are down on their luck, and he's giving them an opportunity. She's like, that is not true. I came to this thinking it was going to further my career. I didn't come to this because I was broken. And that's a really important thing. And then, throughout the documentary, he doesn't let the girls shower. They can't shower unless Jezebel said she had to scale the gate to get out of there because he didn't let the girls out. Now, I don't know enough about this, so I'm saying allegedly. He was controlling about them leaving and coming, about them showering, about what they ate. He wanted them to be involved in the drugs, and I do know what drugs he did. I'll mention it later. I don't want to monopolize.
So he's a recovering addict, right?
Yes, but he's not, because they continues.
Do what, like Molly and
they do Molly, ketamine, and he crushes up Molly. They snort it. They do marijuana, and actually a marijuana company was trying to get him. They were going to give him a free tour bus if he promoted their company and help. He didn't want them to think he smoked pot. And meanwhile, he was smoking pot while he was driving the other bus. He wouldn't let them endorse it because he didn't want to be associated with marijuana, even though he was smoking all day, every day.
Well, that's another. Okay, so that's like, honestly, to me, extremely sad. Like somebody who is a recovering addict is utilizing these drugs for these like sex encounters, but also vehemently saying that he's straight, that he is not a drug user at all. Like that's also the lying is sad. Yeah.
And he also has a prescription for Oxy. He takes that. He also does on a regular basis whippets, which I don't know anybody who does whippets anymore. Like the balloon.
I just like it. Whip it good. Like I have never. All of these girls, they were so young. Like he would only hire like 19, 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-olds to be in the band, except I am perplexed by the music director lady. Like, how in the F did she get hooked up with this insanity? She seemed extremely bright. She didn't live in the house with all of them. I would assume wasn't part of the drug and sex, regalia that was going on. How does one do that for as long as she did? Like,
I'm not sure. I don't know how much. I know he had to pay somebody off like $8,000, and I don't know what they got paid. But I really think people thought getting into this thing with him was going to lead to something big. I really think that, if somebody called me and, and said, can you direct a show? And they were, you know what I mean? And they were somebody that had been famous at one time, extremely famous. I would probably take them up on it. I mean, I would go. I would be like, this is cool.
Well,
and when you get there, you keep waiting for it to be cool.
They showed the people in the doc, like they showed his fans. Like his fans are like true fans. Like they're crying, grown men who are crying, asking him to sign, their bodies. And like, so he definitely is a celebrity. So I get that, like going on tour, but like the way that he was advertising to try to get these women, like on Facebook and again, this is 2016. So I get it. Or like putting like an ad in the newspaper. It just sounds so shady to me.
Totally shady.
And honestly, the band, I mean, some of the girls there were decent musicians.
Yes,
and
yes,
some,
yes.
Like his wife Courtney, like could barely play or sing a song.
She didn't know what a Jezebel was. Did you remember that one? He's like, "Do you
Yeah.
feel like a Jezebel?" And she goes, "What's a Jezebel?" She was not very bright, but she did end up leaving him. And the girl named Jezebel. What did they call a Lolita? She didn't know what a Lolita was.
Oh,
a Lolita.
right, Lolita.
Jezebel said publicly on the YouTube movie that if Courtney ever needed a friend or somewhere to stay, she was there for her, even though Courtney treated her like shit.
Oh, wait, so that is the girlfriend. So we are talking about.
Yes, it was Jezebel.
So that is the girlfriend. Okay, so also too, and I would like to actually bring in the doctor, because I have questions about if these girls were in, they were brought up. I mean, I don't know all of them, but most seemed like they had the head on their shoulders. And again, we do a podcast on our love and fascination of true crime and cults and marketing schemes and all of that. I'm curious to know, and these girls didn't stay in it for very long. Some of them were in it for a while, like the girlfriend, that Jezebel, I guess you're saying that's her name. But a lot of them, would just be a part of it, but then they go through the tour and then they wanted to leave. But I'm just thinking, and I get it. It goes back to, yes, I get it that you're like, yes, I would be a part of this, because of the name, but I'd be so scared. I would be like, oh my God, I'm going to live at Corey Feldman's home.
His house? And it's really gross. The other thing that you were talking about with the controlling and stuff and the red flags that I guess they didn't see, the outfits they had to wear, the way they had to dress. I mean, I don't have any problem with how people dress if they want to dress a certain way. I don't even tell my daughter not to wear certain things. You know what I mean? I mean, I try to say, pull the shorts down if I have to, but you know what I mean? But some of the girls were like, I'm not comfortable in this. They were legitimate artists, not just girls that wanted to be, and this is not how I think about women, but girls that just want to get out there, be slutty, fuck him and whatever. Yeah. I feel like all these people were, except for maybe Courtney, were legitimate musicians that really wanted to be seen. One of the girls, and I'm not remembering which one, said, we can't do that song. And he said, no, we have to do that song. And she's like, we're not ready.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna make the change. He's doing Michael Jackson.
Oh, and that's another thing.
We knew him as a child. Wait, and we must say, too, that the outfits were angel outfits that were extremely skimpy.
And he was like, I don't know what that hood was that he wears. He comes out. And I also thought, gosh, I wish I was the kind of artist who could just get out there and look like a complete weirdo, but believe in it. Because I so many times doubted my talent. He doesn't doubt his talent. He just goes out there and he's
very talented.
But I wouldn't go out unrehearsed. I wouldn't wear a weird outfit. You know what I mean? All this stuff is just very embarrassing.
I guess I think about it, they're young. I just, I give credit to the girls that were able to actually get out of it. That's the thing. They all kind of left. None of them, it really, except for the wife, Courtney, stayed with him for 6 years.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
With that being said, I really do think we should bring in
the doctor,
John, because I'm sure, I don't know if he knows anything about Corey Feldman.
I was literally about to take the words out of your mouth. I was going to say, do you think the doctor knows who Corey Feldman is, or Corey Haim?
We loved Corey Feldman.
And Corey Haim.
Oh, Corey Haim for sure.
Oh, the hottest.
But
so
Dr.
hot. And Corey's
John,
cute, and he's Jewish.
Oh yeah, totally.
We're gonna have to hear the green room door open up on these podcasts, because I'm coming out right now. But thank you for having me come in early. I was hardly finishing my 6th chocolate chip cookie. Good batch today.
Just go outside and take a break in the -33 or whatever it is out there.
I want to know what your baseline and you watched, this is an hour and a half documentary I found it, I was riveted from beginning to end. I'm curious, like, what your thoughts were about Mr. Feldman.
Well, first of all, like you said, Dory, I mean, I started watching this, and of all the things we've watched so far, my mouth was open. It was like, what is this? No, what the hell is this with these girls and these they look like thrift store costumes of angels. And as Stacey was saying, him with this gangsta hood over himself, but being tough, which I think psychologically says something, and maybe I'll get to that later.
Okay, good.
But
I want to
my
know.
mouth was open with this whole thing. And the thing I made a note of this. It took an hour and 10 minutes out of this documentary before I thought the hammer dropped. This whole time we're seeing this goofy performance, and I was waiting to hear you both comment on the performance, because I'm not in the entertainment industry, and I'm going, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's embarrassing, and you can see by the venues, like he was at like a local bar in Highwood.
It was and I think it was Dori talked about the fans, and people whose lives aren't fulfilled and whose lives are maybe dull. They go to these type of things with these has-been stars and are reliving what they saw on the screen when he was good. I do know who he is, by the way. I watched all the Goonie movies and all that stuff. But I have no idea who this Corey Haim is. Haim. Corey Haim. He's a ham. I don't know.
Haim.
Yeah. I have no idea who this guy is.
Dori is really upset with you right now. Young Dori, you got to know his name. Corey Haim, Licensed to Drive.
Oh, the hottest. Lost Boys.
I guess I never had any crush on any of these guys, so I guess I didn't watch their B movies that they.
I wouldn't exactly call Stand By Me a B movie.
Yeah, I did. It was a great movie, and Goonies was terrific.
Yeah,
but we digress. I would have liked to see. I always like to comment on the documentary, and like I said, it took an hour and 10 minutes before it got to anything meaty, where this whole thing was, not only ridiculous, but everything fell apart. And I will give you a little tease here that I think I have some analysis that's going to absolutely shock you on Mr.
You're
Hamm.
joining the band, because now he does all male. Now he has all men in the band.
Oh, yeah.
Are you joining the band?
Well,
that will shock us all.
It's a bizarre situation. And I don't know whether to tell the audience to watch this documentary, maybe just to see pictures of what we're talking about, what these people look like. But we're going to probably do much better analysis of what's going on here and discussion of what's going on, rather than what, the documentary portrayed, because it was just, like I said, my mouth was open for, 20 minutes of it going, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And I want to, you guys talked about these angels, and I don't know. I'm debating whether I can say this in public, but I didn't think these women were that bright. I totally agree with Stacey saying the motivation here was to advance their career. Here's a major Hollywood star. He's starting this music group. You don't know how it's going to be like until you join it. And that was their motivation. But my assessment was these are not that bright individuals. Margot, who was the violin player.
Thank you for the names. I
the
appreciate
music director, violin player.
She was the music director and had musical talent. And she seemed to have her head on somewhat.
Yes.
But, once you saw the costumes that you were going to wear and his performance, wouldn't you guys are in the entertainment industry, wouldn't you bail?
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
thought it was
what I
satire.
said.
It looks like satire.
It was a
Like,
joke, right? Like
it's a
that's what
joke.
I thought.
No,
Like
but
on
it's
the
not a.
No, I know, because on the
I
Today
know.
Show, when he
Yes.
started this is what like it went viral. So he's thinking, oh my gosh, we're an actual band. Like people want us to tour. They want it. Like I'm an actual artist of music. But everybody was laughing at it.
Yeah.
That's why it went viral.
Well,
Total disconnect.
Can I go back to my question? You both
Yes.
are artists and good at what you do. If you arrived at Corey Feldman's house and you saw in rehearsal what this was going to be like, and you looked around at the other people and then looked at these costumes that, were going to put you in skimpy outfits, would you run out of that house or would you stay?
The new me would not stay, would not go.
Yeah.
The old me would have gone, but I don't know
Yeah,
if I would have stayed.
Yeah, young Dory would have definitely gone for sure. But like, would I have, I'd probably, like I said, I would have been very nervous. Like I would have been anxious too and been like, but I would have had that in my head. Like, do I stay for this opportunity?
Right. Do I keep trying, waiting it out?
Yeah. Or
waiting it out.
Or do I run away? Like I may have stayed for a little while.
I may have stayed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's another observation that, and again, audience, if you watch the documentary, and forgive me, maybe it's my prejudice, but you look around at the whole organization. Look at his agent, this Phil, I forget his last name,
that friend.
Shapiro, this heavy-set, scraggly looking, almost homeless looking guy who's his manager and agent. And of course, everything, when they showed him on the documentary, everything Corey said was, oh yeah, he was a bobblehead. Oh yeah.
They've been friends forever. So it's not just like somebody who is as you try to surround yourself with people you can trust. Your brother, who's also part of the whole inner circle, and then you have the friend as well, who are yes people, not the brother. The brother will fight him, but the brother's getting paid. Corey's the moneymaker of the family, right?
Was he? I thought one of the things the documentarians mentioned was nobody got paid. Did Phil get paid?
We all knew Margot was going to have to go, and so Margot is gone. I sent her a dismissal letter, and she's no longer going to be in the band.
How did she respond to that?
Professionally.
So the last time I talked to Corey was on August 31st when he issued me a letter saying that over musical differences, we will not be working together anymore. And I officially am not part of Corey's Angels anymore. That was the worst experience of my life. No tour is anyone treated like this with such health restrictions and shower restrictions and eating restrictions, and I'm still not paid. According to the rest of the girls, no one's been paid. So there's crew not paid. There's security not paid. The bus people haven't been paid. I wonder where all this money is going because no one's been paid.
We went on a honeymoon to Hawaii.
Yes, we are in Hawaii, and this is behind us is the great Kalapakawikawakawiki.
But here's another interesting point to slip in. I always look at credits, after these things are done. And this Phil Shapiro, talk about everybody bailing on Corey. He was an executive producer on the documentary.
No.
So he was doing one of the, he gave the middle finger to Corey.
He was playing both sides.
Yeah.
Well,
But
you
they
got to
didn't
kiss his
pay.
ass,
So I don't think that the women got paid, right? The girls did not, the girls maybe never ever got paid, but Corey and Courtney go on their honeymoon. They had a GoFundMe for all, like they were getting paid. But I have a feeling the brother and the friend, they were getting paid. Like those are like the quote unquote lifers that have been with him.
Maybe.
It's just that the girls were being shafted.
Yeah. The whole thing was, and you both hinted at it, the whole thing was cultish and a mess and wrong. I think, antisocial. I mean, he was just taking advantage of these people. And if you want my shocking analysis now, or should I wait?
No,
No, I'm clamoring.
All right. You know what I thought of as about halfway in between this is that this is exactly like Charles Manson.
Wow.
Corey, the older Corey even looks like Charles Manson if you look at it.
Oh.
And Charles Manson had the same kind of organization, right? He had a bunch of women, couple of guys, but mostly women who just, were there idolizing.
Worked for him, yeah.
And remember at some points in the documentary, he had this whole Jesus fantasy. So did Charles Manson. And another thing that Charlie Manson was broken about was that he envisioned himself as a songwriter, and the Beach Boys wouldn't play any of his songs. They rejected his songs, and that kind of broke him and got bizarre. And again, you have the Charles Manson kind of thread, the kind of mindset where I'm going to change the world. We're having a revolution here. I'm gonna, the whole thing with Corey. I'm gonna break up Hollywood with my, revelations. Who did Charles Manson kill? Hollywood stars. He wanted to break up Hollywood as well. Dori.
I love. Okay, so I'm totally into that, and honestly, I didn't even think of that.
That is really brilliant.
But, yeah, that is like, and I agree with you. There is a lot of that, and honestly, I feel like, well, now I've watched this documentary twice. I honestly may need to watch it one more time with that thinking in it. But also, I think unlike Manson, and I've watched a few things on him, but Corey has more of like a victim mentality. Like I don't think Charles Manson and John is chomping at the bit. Do you think Charlie Manson also?
Yes. Yeah, remember what I said. He was broken because the Beach Boys wouldn't record any of his music and accept him as a legitimate musician. And again, the parallel between those Corey Feldman performances and how he wasn't any musician or singer either. Or dancer, by the way. I like Stacey's comments on his dancing, which was absolutely bizarre.
He was doing like a break dance.
Yeah, Dori, Charles Manson absolutely felt he was victimized. Again, we're going to change the world because we know what's right, and we're not being heard. We're not being heard. Same message of Corey.
Well, there's so much delusion, as well, and like with the dance moves and all of that does, make most probably giggle. I think it's absolutely offensive that because you were like a part of Michael Jackson's world back in the day as a child, that you now think you can go sing his music.
Right.
How offensive is that?
It's completely out of touch and tone deaf. Like, first of all, you're appropriating like Michael Jackson's moves, and you're acting like him, and you had this, you were at the ranch.
And the look. Where
I'm not sure where that's coming from, like traumatically or emotionally. Like, where is that coming from? And it was just like this combination of weird performance art. Like, I don't know, he was jumping around. It's very, like, not organized at all. I don't understand what the theme is. And I also was going to say one more thing, about the Jesus with the Manson. And, As we know, Corey Feldman is Jewish, and he has taken on this sort of Christian, like Christian outlook with the angels and angels watching over him. This bullshit about all these angels in his life, and it's representing all the angels that helped him, and that he's into. I mean, he mentions some Christianity. I don't remember the exact quote. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Maybe because
That's
his
interesting.
wives. Well, I think one wife was Jewish, but Courtney.
Oh, really?
Susie
Yeah.
Feldman, right? That's his wife that was on the two Coreys, I believe.
Oh
no, she wasn't, because her last name is Feldman through him. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it is bizarre, but he's always identified as like just religious wise, like he's always spoken out about being Jewish, and so that is interesting.
Yeah,
and
not sure where
that's what was one of the tipping points for me to put together the Manson parallel, because that's what Manson, his followers were calling, well, he's the Messiah, he's like a Jesus figure, etc. And Corey was trying to build that up with these individuals. And again, I think, and forgive me, Corey Feldman, I hope you're going to listen to this, but I think there's some really threatening and dangerous aspects to him. You saw his wife at one point when she was mixing some of that food or some in the segment. She said, well, I could just punch her. I want to get her for putting,
Is that the lid on the coffee cup, on the Hooters cup, where he got pissed?
We got pissed off.
Put the lid on his Hooters, on the Hooters tea.
Yeah, he put the lid on the Hooters tea, and he got all angry about it.
Bent out of shape. And also when she was making that smoothie, that was all so weird. Like the way that she made the tea and the smoothie, and then he went and got a scope of his voice and all of that stuff. What was that all about?
Yeah.
It was really weird.
The whole thing there's so many bizarre aspects of it. And again, that's, if you look into the Manson situation, there's so many parallels to me. So many. The isolation.
Do you have any other parallels? Because I'm interested in I like comparing things. It's interesting.
Well, I think the control of the people. Manson did the same thing with his father. They didn't shower. They lived in squalor and at ranch, and whatever Manson said, the followers obeyed. I'm sure those people were not paid. As I recall, reading some of the docs on Manson, they were not fed right. Corey did the same thing. They weren't eating right. Of course, a lot of drugs going around in the Manson camp, and also in the Corey Feldman camp. Sex, it turns out again, we had to wait till the very end of something that I'm sure all of us suspected, was that there was orgies and sexual deviance going around. And at the end of the documentary, I think it was that Darcy said, I was there as just his, F person, she just screwed me. And I had a bad opiate addiction. And, it was like, I'm not that person anymore. Well, good for you, as you guys said, these women broke out, which didn't happen in the Manson situation.
I was just basically the girl for Corey to fuck. It's a straight up sex cult. They try to preach about being open and that sex is such a great thing, but mind you, having sex with Corey only has sex to fuck himself. He only has sex to fuck himself. Ultimately, I felt like they were using me as a recruiter and I didn't even know it. That fucking makes me really sick. And it breaks my heart, honestly. Like when I think about situations that in his eyes, and apparently Courtney's, he's God. And he thinks that he's like this disciple. And Courtney tries to say that, like Corey in a lot of ways is like Jesus. It's so much easier than people realize to be sucked in and lied to and manipulated. And it's very hard to get out. It's very hard to realize it. How would that happen to someone like me, you know? Like, I never in my wildest dreams would ever imagine that I would ever get sucked into a cult.
But and then we got this whole Satanist theme. You know, everybody that crossed Corey turns out to be a Satanist and devil, and, you know.
That's the delusion.
It's the same thing as Mormonism.
It is. It's like the satanic side of things, but also the utter delusion that, and brings back into the victim mentality, that anybody who wrongs me
Is the
are
devil.
wrong. They're the ones who are the devil. They're the ones. What did he keep saying about the media, the dark media? He kept
The dark
blaming
media.
that there's all this. It's like conspiracy theorist that he
Yes.
is, because how could I be questioned, or how could I be wrong? Like I am always right.
There is a dark underworld of press, okay? There's like the bottom feeder media is, that's like all the tabloids, and they all work together. And Vice Magazine is the kingpin of all of that. So as soon as I see somebody go, oh, and I read the Vice story with the link, you know immediately they're part of it. Immediately. You guys are all linked together, and you just want to keep posting that same damn article to try and make me look like an ass. And it's like, whatever they say is what the final word is, right? Because I can't go write a rebuttal in the paper. So at the end of the day, what am I supposed to do other than just take the licks?
We have no person really coming to the show that's a music critic. They're looking for something else to really criticize.
If you're for the dark side and you're a Satanist or a cultist and you want to sit there and be dismissive about my art or what I do, let's put it very simply. I'm a light worker. I spread positive messages. I spread love and light. That's it. What I do hope is that some real critics come to the shows. And I hope that we get some fair assessment of what we're doing out there. Because why is it that every single fan that walks out of that room says, it was terrific, you guys were amazing?
Well,
It's
and Stacey asked
yeah,
for
keep going.
parallels to Manson, and how I put this together is that, you know, the paranoia about that, you know,
Yes.
everybody's against this. That's why we have to be in a compound in Northern California and hidden, and, you know.
It's a way to justify. It's a way to justify breaking the law. It's a way to justify everything and validating yourself. It's the same thing with extreme religion and all this. Or with MLM. If you don't want to join, my multi-level marketing company, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
But there's where the underpinnings of a mental illness are. If you think about all that paranoia, the delusions, the everybody's a Satanist. By the way, this just came to my mind right now. I got a chuckle out of when he went to New York for the Matt Lauer interview, which I thought,
oh wow,
I don't
it's
know
so
much
ironic.
about Matt Lauer, but he was brilliant in that, just nailing him.
He was.
What's your motive, etc. But you know, the line that I chuckled at was, we were walking across the street in New York City, and two big trucks almost hit us. And I'm sitting there and thinking, have you ever walked in New York City? And how can you not get almost hit by a couple of taxis or trucks, etc.? You know, it's like, Corey, that's New York City. You know, it's not somebody after Corey Feldman.
Adam, it's Corey. Our RV with all of our stuff is still in Texas, because we just basically ditched it at a hotel and left it in the parking lot. We have another 8 dates of tours, which I can't really finish because I have no band. Please spread the word and get as many people to contribute to my campaign as you possibly can. We need it all. And 2 trucks tried to kill me. That's no joke. So there was 2 giant trucks, like those monster trucks. We start walking across the street. Both trucks come directly at us, and both of us move in unison like this, together, like a dance move. Both like, and jump out of the way. Were they trying to kill a group of people because they knew that Corey Feldman was crossing the street at that moment and they followed us from the hotel and they were sent there to do a job? I mean, I don't know. It was a warning shot.
Right.
It really brought a chuckle to me. Like, you know,
Well, wait, can I say
so paranoid.
one other line that brought a chuckle to me? When the woman who was having had him perform it at her venue, and she got it all nice, and she said, "Oh yeah," she's like, you meet your idols, and they're always much shorter than what you think that they are, because Corey Feldman might be 5'4", like maybe even shorter, and she's like, yeah, you meet them and they're definitely shorter than what you are.
She was so excited to have Corey.
Oh my God.
Hey, by the way, can I interrupt? Is the penis dog back?
No, it's a different dog.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, it looks exactly like the penis dog.
Tell us, because I read about it on Facebook. You are a saint. This is a dog that was.
This is a tough one. This is
a dog that was returned, right?
Well, yeah, she was from Chicago Animal Care and Control, but a guy adopted Retta and her brother and dumped them a year later. She has scars all over her, sores all over. She cries and whines all the time. She took a shit yesterday because, hey, this weather, we're real cold here in the Chicagoland area right now. Yeah. So I get it. I don't want to be shitting outside as well. However, she took a huge shit inside and she peed inside 2 hours after peeing outside. So it just so ladies and gentlemen, am I a saint? Yes, I am a saint. I am a saint of dogs.
Let me say you're a saint.
Can I see the face?
Also, I'm going to refuse an invitation to have tea at your house with all that shit and piss all over.
Definitely. I won't be inviting anybody over for a long time. So
audience Dori is showing us her latest rescue.
Are you?
Can you see her there?
Oh yeah, I see her little nose.
That's why I just saw the nose and the forehead, and I thought the penis dog returned. But
and let me say, since we're talking about dogs, I did feel bad for the Feldmans, Pug and that other dog, having to go on the bus with them all the time with all the craziness going on. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
However, he is a vegan, so I give him that. I give him props for that. Unless he maybe isn't a vegan and he's just like he's not a drug addict anymore.
Right. I mean, the guy is all over the place. And I just want to go back to this, that I'm not sure, I don't usually find cult leaders sad, and he insists he's not a cult leader, but he has all the trappings of being a cult leader. I still feel sad about him. I almost to the point where I don't want to watch his movies because I don't want to remember him before he was like this, because I don't know. I just can't go back, but I remember loving him as an actor as a kid. Yes.
That's one of the points I wanted to get to as well, is that, these child actors, as much as we hear about, they have tutors on the set and, we take care of them and there's union, rules about how you have to treat child actors and how many minutes they can perform before they, a day before they are let go, etc. This is an unrealistic childhood and development. And I think that's our mission here always on Pod Candy is, how does this occur? What happened to this guy? And what we're seeing is just probably huge gaps in his development as a child and as a person, which leads to him being a very inadequate person. That's one of the things I was thinking of as I was watching the documentary, going, how many of these child actors have this kind of deficit in their life that turns them out to be,
he said
adults.
He was getting abused by his mother at home. So his only solace was going to the set. He did a ton of movies, TV, commercials when he was a child. He started very, very young. He was the breadwinner of the family. He was never around kids. He was always around adults. So like that's something too.
Was he in that group of child actors before there was rules on their money, and the parents Corey Feldman's parents could scam all his money?
You mean the Gary Coleman?
Like a Gary Coleman. Yeah.
Yeah. I think now there's
he
laws
became
put in place.
emancipated. Like he became emancipated when he was a teen, right?
13, I think he said, didn't he?
Yeah.
13.
Well, just like the Drew Barrymores of the world, like you're surrounded by just corruption. Like if you don't have a solid family life where your parents care about you, like you do become like into drugs, like you do get hooked up with just the wrong crowd. And obviously it's made him who he is today, because he always seems to be seeking like not no approval, but like others to like him or want to, I guess, to follow him, like what he's saying. Like he's only right, but he wants everybody around him to also acknowledge that as well and go with him. There's the cult side of it.
Well, and this goes way back, right? Who is the my mind is escaping me. Who is the Yellow Brick Road actress?
You mean Judy Garland?
Judy Garland. I don't know if anybody's known the background on that, but she was terribly used as an actress as a child, drugs. And developed a drug and alcohol problem, primarily alcohol. But she was a very sad individual. And here now, we come, 50 years later, and we have Corey Feldman, there's almost the same script.
I have to tell you, because I know about unions and child actors and stuff because of what I do.
Yeah.
And it's called a Coogan account, or the Coogan law. The Coogan account is something that needs to be created by the parent for the kid, and the money, gets put into this special account, and then it can be released to the kid at 18. So it's very strict. But ironically, you were talking about Judy Garland, and she was made to work 72-hour shifts, and they had to give her amphetamines to keep her awake because she was falling asleep. So this, in 1938, they started it wasn't the Coogan, because Gary Coleman got, fucked by his parents. So I don't really have the exact date. But nowadays, I talk to parents all the time about getting the Coogan account, make sure you have a work permit, all that stuff, because it's very serious. And I have been on a lot of sets with kids, and you don't curb your behavior, don't curb your, it's a very advanced and a very adult environment to be in as a kid. And when you're in that environment too much, and you're being catered to, and there's food everywhere, and you know what I'm saying? It becomes very addictive, and it changes you. And then when you're in the real world, you're like, what's wrong with me?
Is the Coogan
really
account,
hard?
So wait, is that optional for parents to do that, or is that a law that you have to set that up for?
I understand that it's a law.
After the child actor, right? It was named after one of those the Coogan.
Yes,
Jackie Coogan, who was in the Our Gang, I think. Yeah, it goes way back.
But
Jackie
so you
Coogan,
have to do that, right? So
mandatory deposit. Employers must deposit 15% of a minor's gross earnings into a Coogan account. Blocked funds, money in the account cannot be accessed by the child or family till the minor turns 18. And it is you have to do it. It's a block trust account.
Stacey, when was that enacted? When does it say?
I'm going to find out.
Okay.
Because when Corey Feldman was on Stern with his dad, he was talking about the fact that the father took, he had made maybe $1 million or something, and the father took the money, right? All the money.
Yeah. This is interesting. It was established in 1939, around the time that Judy Garland was, in Wizard of Oz. But I don't know what happened to Gary Coleman and other people. Maybe their parents squandered their account or didn't ever put it in the Coogan account.
But that's why. So even though it's mandatory to do it, what are the safeguards for the child actor to actually get that money?
Right.
like there should be more laws around that even if the parents, what did Corey say, that his dad was taking like 20 per, like, they have these like crazy manager fees too to your parents. And getting back also to the documentary too, Stacey, you were saying like you felt like there's a part of you, I feel bad too, like I feel bad for him, how he had to grow up, and but it's no excuse for how he is now as an adult, right?
And
I don't, and again, this was done in 2016. To be honest, I know he has a band now with men in the band. There are no more women in the band. I know he's divorced from Courtney. He hasn't remarried, as far as I know.
Do the men wear skimpy costumes or what?
Let's hope they wear the same exact angel costumes.
Are they all in Speedos?
I was about to say, do they have white Speedos?
And
just really quick.
He was just on The Masked Singer as well. So like,
he was, really?
I know, but he was only on for, I think, one episode, and he was voted out because he has no singing talent.
Right.
Was he masked as Charles Manson by any chance? To prove my theory?
But that would have been a good one. I'm sure he would. I don't remember. Probably like some big bird or something. I don't know.
Something, it's just that when somebody is that famous and that well known, and then they get to this point and they're so out of touch. That's why, because as a kid, like he seemed, when he was interviewed as a child, he seemed very intelligent, very connected, very like good with adults, but probably because he was around adults all the time. And it doesn't count to say you're around kids in a movie like Stand By Me. There were all the kids around. Or it doesn't count when you're around all these kids in a musical, because you're still in an environment where there's adults and adult behavior and adult stuff. And it gets, they have, there's a lot of laws. We don't have to get into this, like even with musical theater and tours and professional productions, that you have to have a child wrangler that watches the kids, brings them to stage, brings them to set, all that stuff.
What about for a wrangler for young ladies who join a crazy ass cult band?
Yeah, they do need a wrangler.
I would like to, because I know, Stacey, you mentioned like that you have been following one of the angels.
Yes, Jezebel.
I would like to really hear. I wish they would do a documentary on all of the former angels and get them together.
She wants it. She's like, I'm going to keep giving this information because she said it was, and I don't really know how much worse because she didn't go into detail. She said it was so much worse than what you've seen.
Wow.
Yikes. So
crazy times
let's ring up
Corey Feldman.
Let's ring up Alex Flaster, and maybe that's another documentary that Alex can do.
Put it on his list.
On the angels.
I also wanted to add my 2 cents. While I was in the green room, I heard that you're Howard Stern fans, and
are you?
Drum roll. Oh, I am fascinated by Howard Stern.
Oh, John, I've loved you for my life, and I love you more. I love both of you so much.
Maybe we'll do a special episode on Howard.
I would love to do a psychoanalysis on Howard on air. Maybe we should, because there's a lot of little quirks of him that I think I could comment on.
You see that?
There's the poster. Stacey has the autograph. Private parts poster.
There's the poster.
Yeah, I mean, Howard doesn't like to leave the house. He's kind of agoraphobic. He doesn't like to go in public. He hates parades. And you know what?
Fosters a lot of cats.
He fosters cats, and I love his wife. I love Robin. I love Fred. I love Jackie. No, I didn't. I don't like Jackie. I'm kidding. I love all the players on the show. Yeah, I love Gary Delabate.
Let's wrap up Corey. Let's put a nice
bow on it.
Let's put a nice bow around Corey. I think all of our hearts go out to the women that were a part of
1,000%
this crazy ass time in the band.
I'd like to say to the audience, I always like to give, what's our warning shot here? What can we do to prevent this? And as I said from the beginning, everyone out there, if you're in a situation and you see what's transpiring, bolt, get out of there. Why are these people hanging around when they see that this is a disaster, not being paid, etc. So if it, it's the old saying, if it smells like a rat or looks like a rat, it probably is a rat.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to take away. I think the other thing to take away is this whole fandom thing, just following blindly somebody that had notoriety in the past. That doesn't necessarily make them a wonderful, caring, sane human being in today's day and age. So I think those are a couple of takeaways and prevention here. So.
Hey, audience, can you suggest topics for our show? Do you have any ideas? If you do, please email us at info@podcandypodcast.com. If you love our podcast, consider donating any amount to buymeacoffee.com/podcandy. Every bit helps us keep creating the true crime, cult, and pop culture stories you can't stop listening to.
So people can buy us a cup of coffee?
Thank you to everyone for listening. On our next episode, we may be discussing a cult or a crime. Our theme music is written and performed by Midnight Current, and you can hear more from them on SoundCloud. Please visit podcandypodcast.com to learn more about us and listen to all of our episodes, or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much.
Pod Candy!